Welcome to the Inspiring Possibilities podcast. It's Julian, and today's topic is pride goes before destructions. So today, as I was finished my Bible study here, I was reminded of this, which is that at some point we get success, right? As an entrepreneur, hopefully you get to be successful. But then we forget how we started. We forget how unsure we were. We forget that there are so many little decisions, little things that came together that could have gone the opposite way. And so we understood at that moment that it was by grace that we were able to be successful, right? By grace that we were able to grow that business. By grace we were able to sustain it. By grace it did not get burnt. By grace our people, our staff did not leave. Look, the reality is that running a business is challenging as hell. Like it is. There are so many small components, right? There's sales, there's marketing, there's optics, there's legal, there's accounting, there's finance, there's human resources, there's customer service, there's processes, right? There's so many small things that are all part of the roots of the tree that is your business. But all of that together is still tied into you as the individual in your personal life. If your personal life, if your body is not weaponized, there's nothing you can do. If your relationship with your spouse is not solid, you're never going to be able to grow your business, because you will be just in so much stress all the time and not feeling supported. And many men are in that place where they don't spend the time to understand one another. They don't spend the time to grow in communication and give the space that is needed. And so they never grow. Their business never grows because there's always resistance. There's always resistance. And eventually what happens is they just get divorced. Because there's so much resistance, and the call to grow the business is also great, and they don't understand what the resistance is. They just think that it's just the relationship, where in fact is, yes, the relationship, but it's because of the skill set. Then also the relationship with your kids. If you're consistently feeling guilty for working, then you can never have the right mindset, the right thinking, right? Do you know that most human have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, right? And out of those, 70% are the same thoughts day after day. So imagine this, if you have the same thoughts almost every day, like 70% of your thoughts are the same every day, how can you expect to change? How can you expect transformation? Like, it's really hard, right? So if you feel guilty all the time, and this is part of like your programming, and those are your thoughts that you're having almost every day, it's hard for you to think about growing people, marketing, sales, finance, human resources, customer service, let alone yourself. Then finally, all connecting to God. If you feel disconnected and you think that it's just by you and your own understanding that you're going to make it, it is very hard, because it's hard to be married. It's hard to be an entrepreneur. It's hard to be, a parent, a dad, because of all those components. And so understanding that you alone cannot do it, and that you need God's grace is part of that foundation. And so in the beginning, you remembered that through God's grace, you're able to make it. As you became successful, perhaps you forgot. And you thought it was just you and your intellect, or people around you told you, oh, man, you're amazing. It's you. You're an amazing business person or amazing marketer. But you forgot that there are so many things that can go wrong that perhaps did not go wrong. The timing was perfect, right? And so in this Bible study, that was the story, right? It was all those kings that in the beginning were seeking God, doing the right thing, not cutting corners. And then at some point start to make those pivots where they started thinking that they knew better, right? And started forgetting that through God's grace, they were where they were, that they were leading, right? And the majority of them, guess what happened? They got killed. By who? By their people. Because they started to forget. Do you know what? I remember this video I watched. And it was this guy, and he was sharing how one of his fear is to not have God's grace, because he experienced having God's grace and he experienced losing God's grace because he did the wrong thing, and that scared him. And now that is his fear, that he's losing God, to lose God's grace in his life. So my question to you is simple. Have you forgotten that by grace you are where you are? Not by your work, not by all the stuff you did, but by grace. Because there's too many things that could have gone wrong. Right? I'm pretty sure you can think back at moments where you could have got hit driving. Or, if when you were younger, if you went to a club, you could have got shot, or you could have got stabbed, or whatever it is. Like, I can't remember those moments in my life where literally it's just like, wow, I could have got hit here, could have died. I could have got stabbed here, could have died. But none of that stuff happened. And it's not because of me. It's because, like, things just happen around me to protect me. So I can label that by grace, I'm still here. By grace, I'm still doing the work that I'm called to do. By grace, my business is growing. By grace, my kids are protected, blessed, and saved. And by grace, I'm still going to be here for many, 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 many years. So I'm going to repeat the question. Where have you forgotten that by grace, you are where you are? Where? And listen, if you're in this place and you're feeling like you don't really have someone to support you, someone to be able to run next to you, because this world of entrepreneurship is sometimes a lonely world where it's sometimes focused solely on business, but we understand that business success is just a result, a fruit of everything else. So if that's you, reach out. Let me help you create what I call a war map, which is a map of where you are today, where you want to go, and the obstacles along the way. All right? And if it makes sense, I'll make you an invitation and we'll work together. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least you will have this war map for you to be able to keep moving forward from somebody else that's been doing it for a hot minute. All right? Okay, cool. It's Julian signing off, saying remember to release it, be seen, don't hide. Peace.